Today I'm going to show you how I go about enlarging a card for an illustration so that the painting is larger than the card is going to be. So what I've done is I've taken a piece of tracing paper and with a graphite pencil, I've drawn the size of a 5x7 card. And on this 5x7 card, I actually added some what they call bleed. So I extended this out 1/4 inch on two sides, which will give me about 1/8 of an inch bleed. Bleed is where the illustration actually continues beyond the crop marks, so that if you want to go with a full page card, when they when they print it, it won't give you a white edge. So what I'm doing here is I've got a pad of watercolor paper, and it's just what I happen to have that was available. It's the Cotman. Let's see, it's a 9x12. Okay, and so the piece of tracing paper, I put tape around the edge because I know I want to have some tape around the painting. So I'm putting the corner of the drawing on the corner of the tape on my paper and lining it up. And then I took a straight edge and I drew through the corners of the 5x7 that I had already drawn on my tracing paper. So I went through the corner and I extended it all the way up to here, where it actually ends up almost exactly a 9x12 format. It's a little short, like about here. So that means that when I paint this, if I paint it this size, it's going to be just a tiny, tiny bit longer on one side. If you're painting on another size paper that's not 9x12, you might find that you also have to, oh, let's see, wait, another thing is looking at what I've got here. Okay, so I'm also looking at the height of it, and it looks like on my paper it goes farther up, so I'll have to put more tape on one side. I think I'll put more tape on the bottom, because you want the format of your painting to be correct. And so that means I've got to bring another layer of tape up just slightly from what I had. I'll have a bigger margin on the bottom. Does anybody have a question about that? Do you understand what I did? I just enlarged it by going through the corners of the 5x7 card, and then where it meets the line here is where it would be the edge of the illustration. So here I'm going to make another line here. So I have to put my tape down on my paper so that I have it in the correct proportion. Okay. All right. So I have already taped this off, and I said I was just maybe going to experiment, but I might as well experiment in the right format and just see what happens. I'll try a few different things on here, and it's going to be kind of a abstract of pine needles. And let's see, I'm gonna like just kind of eyeball this to where it should go. I'll try a few different techniques on the same illustration. And this was about, let's see where, how far. Okay. Oh, it's down here. I wanted to put the tape. Okay. Okay, so I am going to do just a little bit of a drawing. I'm going to move this so I can see my picture. So my pine cones, there's 3 pine cones. And then got all these needles coming out. And I'm going to just do some kind of like some oval shapes here for the pine cone, so I have some idea of the structure of that. Okay, so I have this from the COVID test kit, this little thing that has the applicator or, swab. And I have the PBO brisket right here, drawing gum. And I thought I would use it to put a little bit of that on to start on some of them and just see how that works. So I'm going to use, I think I'll use this end just because it's thinner. And I'm going to start, in this case, I think that there's more brisket or more frost on the end. So I'm going to start at the thick end and go this way. But I'm also going to dab on the edge so that it's kind of speckled, I mean, so it's not too regular, it's kind of irregular. Got some pretty big blobs here, so I'm going to use them to dip into so that they'll dry.
Sylvia, do you want to record? I don't know if you're recording.
I'm recording.
I think it is.
Yeah, I'm recording. It was just the camera that went off, not the recording. The recording kept going. Oh, you know what? When you drag it this way, whoops, when you kind of drag it, it's kind of flexible, so it gives you little dots instead of a solid line. It's kind of interesting because the texture of the paper. Oh, I was going to start with the thicker end there, but I forgot. Now I'm going to try to do some spatter. Let's see if I can do that with this thing. Oh yeah, that works really well. It's very flexible. Okay, I don't want to do it all with this kind of Frisco. I want to try other things too. So let's see what else I can do. Do a few more. Okay. Let's see, there are a few on the pine cones too here. All right, I'm going to put that aside. And let's see, what else was I thinking I'd do? Oh yeah, I wanted to try using a little bit of gonna try this with some Frisket too. This is that corrugated cardboard. I'm gonna try it with this way and with the way Shelley mentioned it, because I want to try something else with it. Oh, there's a couple of weird guys in my driveway. I'll keep an eye on them. Oh, wait a second. I have to go out a second. I don't know what they're doing. Hold on.
Sylvia, I just got a tsunami warning on my cell phone for the coastal areas in California. So just
There's
one.
a big earthquake in Humboldt.
Yeah, 7.0 off the coast.
Oh, I see.
Is it all coastal areas, even down here?
Yeah, I thought it was more in Northern California. My
Oh.
son got one in San Francisco.
Yeah, I didn't get one.
Oh
I
boy,
didn't get one, but my husband got one.
the cheap plumber that I hired that completely screwed up the job is back. And he came early. I told him not to come until 12:30.
Yeah. I guess it's from Marin County, the tsunami warning.
What's that? I missed something, I guess.
There's a tsunami warning for Marin County where I am, just telling us to stay away from the coast.
Oh gosh. Was there an earthquake or something?
Somebody else just mentioned there was an earthquake.
7.0 in
Humboldt,
near
Humboldt
Humboldt,
County. Yeah,
off
bad.
the coast.
Oh, okay. I put some Frisket on this corrugated cardboard. Oh, it just made a big blob. But now I pressed too hard. If I just go like this, it makes little lines that are kind of, not solid. Okay, so that's a different effect. And now I want to, if I can get this to dry, I'm going to get a paper towel and kind of dab up on it so it'll dry faster. I think I'll be doing this for a couple weeks. It's going to take a couple weeks to finish this. So now I'm going to take the pine needle. Let's see. I've got these dried ones and I thought it might be fun to try something with that too. Let's see. Well, I don't know if I dare. I was going to dip it in some Brisket and see what happens. Okay. So I dipped it in some Frisket. This is a different kind of pine needles, but could be fun to try. Stamping it. or you're gonna get some frisket on your fingers. All right, let me paint in kind of a background now. I'm going to use, this is manganese blue, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna mute people that are making noises. Can you all mute yourselves? That would be good. I'm putting a little bit of a green in here too, so that it's got more of a greenish tone. I want to make it a bit darker. So when I put the plastic on, it'll draw up the pigment and create a texture. I'm using my brush sideways, so it creates some texture also. Looking at where I want some darker darks. We'll even put some of the browns in for the pine cones, just to get kind of an underpainting going. Yeah, let's see. I need to get a little darker still. Okay. Now get my plastic wrap. You want to pull it in the direction of the pine needles if you can. Some of it might be too dry already. Oh, I think this part got dry. I saw somebody before who leaked some paint underneath the plastic. Remember that? You saw it in something. Let's try that. Might be a good idea to pull off some plastic before you start this process. Okay, so there, we'll see what we end up with. I can't really paint on it right now for a little while because I've got to wait and see what happens, but is anybody working on something you want to show? Obviously, I'll have
I
to.
painted the bunny.
Oh, good, let's do that. Hold off. I'm gonna stop the video here.